Hi, everybody. Welcome to Soulful Ratchet. This is Sheree,
She's smacking, but this is Sister Love.
and we have a special guest again, Mr. Rayfield.
Hello.
Oh, your energy real low. We're about to show you the dough real quick. And if you can't be on for the episodes that we want you on, you won't be on the episodes that you want to be on. Bruh.
This is my show. I made this show. I'm David Ruffin, y'all the Temptations.
Well, actually, your episode has the least viewers of them all.
Just so you know.
I ain't gonna need to justify that. I could explain how you got to all the other views after my episode. It ain't even worth saying.
I don't know.
All the added viewers that I added to this show.
Anyway, so we basically calling this part 2 because what happened is I dropped the bomb about Brooks, also known as Daddy Brooks. But basically, I dropped the bomb, and then everybody was like texting me and calling me because they felt like I dropped this bomb, but I didn't explain details of like the environment at that time and how did I get over it. They wanted to know, did I tell my mother? Like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Now, if I'm gonna be completely transparent, the reason why I brought up the topic in the first place is because the topic is so frequent. It happens a lot. I wanted to be transparent and reflecting in myself to encourage my viewers to be transparent and reflecting on themselves. Mm-hmm. And I knew that this topic is very, very common. So, like, even when I looked up the statistics, it was like 1 in every 5 females have been molested. Mm-hmm. And even as far as boys go, 1 in every 20 boys, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So, one, I wanted to talk about a topic that is taboo. Nobody wants to say out loud. Nobody wants to discuss it. And 2, just to foster an environment of self-reflection and to start seeing how those things actually connect. Mm-hmm. You know, and today, like that, we talking about when I was like 6 or 7, and I can like really tell you at 33 how that might have affected me. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I chose that specific topic for a reason. But what's happening is so many people got so many questions. I had to like really take myself back to how I felt at that time so I can discuss it like from an authentic place. And oh my goodness, I got so emotional, like to the point where I'm waking up seeing Daddy Brooks on top of me. And I like been so past that where I was like, oh my goodness, I can just see why people kind of like keep stuff to themselves because it's heavy. And it's like once it start coming up, you start thinking of, reliving the emotions and everything that you had before. And now I'm not going to cry. But it is definitely an emotional subject for me, So I just, one of the questions was, did anybody tell me to tell somebody if somebody touched me? And it was like, yeah, I'm sure. I actually think that Daddy Brick started really early with me. So I actually think that it was after he already was touching me when somebody advised me not to touch them. But to give you some background, my father was not in the picture. Daddy Brooks this was his second marriage, and he kind of came in to give my mama he was like her assistant. So he provided some structure, and then he also was like a volunteer at my school. So he would take me to school, and we would come home together. He would be at school all day. So like for real, when Daddy Brooks died, they had a poster of Daddy Brooks in the office, a life-size poster of Daddy Brooks in the office. So he was really involved in my life. So he had a lot of time with me, just one-on-one with me. You know what I mean? So somebody told me that if somebody touching me in inappropriate places, I should tell. But somebody have to understand that, everybody has to understand that Daddy Brooks was everybody's knight in shining armor. They were just so happy that Daddy Brooks came in and took over being my daddy and took over being a husband and just was like offer stability to us. They was just so happy. Like I can remember my aunties being so grateful for Daddy Brooks and saying that to me. So I'm not about to go behind them praising him to say who he was. Mm-hmm. So that's how I ended up not saying it. Like I don't think that my siblings care for him. Like, oh yeah, big ups to Daddy Brooks, but just like, well, at least he good to my, my little sister, and at least he good to my mama. So I wasn't about to like even tarnish that. Like, it was almost something that a gift. He was something like a gift to everybody, and I wasn't about to shit on that gift.
Basically.
I wasn't prepared to do that at like 6 or 7.
And you probably didn't know how.
Exactly. I just wasn't willing to break silence and just be uncomfortable like that. I just, I wasn't ready to do that. And then you have to understand, when you do break silence, you're about to get asked a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they gonna want to know, where did he touch you? How did he touch you? Did you have on clothes? Did you not have on clothes? Was your mama here? This. You're gonna have to go through a whole lot of interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta be strong enough in that space to even just stand up and be able to answer all of those questions. It's like being molested again.
Right.
Like, once you tell the truth and now you got to relive it because you got to tell the facts of it, it's hard to do. So you just want to keep it to yourself. That another thing I'm trying to think of some of the questions. Because basically, a lot of people are offended and upset because Daddy Brooks is now dead. And people want their revenge. To touch me is to just like kind of offend a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel so bad, but I feel like I had to say my truth because so many people are dealing with their truth. And I understand, like, the people who are like put on the earth to protect me feel like they was cheated. Like, now it's like, you just told me that this happened to you and I can't do anything to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the things that even if they would have smashed Daddy Brooks' face in, it still wouldn't have changed
what happened.
Right, it wouldn't have changed what happened, and it wouldn't have changed the effects on me, because now I'm like looking it up, and people actually refer to molestation and childhood abuse as soul murderers, because it actually takes away your innocence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It could affect your ego, your development, and how you look at things. You got to remember, most of the time, abuse comes from either somebody of authority that was supposed to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's telling you that even the people that's put here on earth to protect you and to teach you and to guide you can be the very people that hurt you. You know what I mean? And then you don't necessarily at that age want to sever that relationship and all the benefits that you might have gotten from that. Like having somebody take me to school and be there for me in different ways. I necessarily wasn't ready to forfeit all of that either. It's just a complex situation. It's always a complex situation for any child that's dealing with it. And now any adult that's dealing with the consequences of it. Because it's so much shame that go with it. Like, say, for instance, you not telling people that it was happening to you. You have to understand it's going to be shame in that. Mm-hmm. You didn't even stand up for yourself. And then I was talking to my niece, and my niece is like, well, you never told me that happened, right? But I know when it comes to me, I couldn't talk to a man, or they couldn't pick me up, or like you was like a pit bull. So now I'm like listening to her, and I'm like, well, why was I able to defend her like that? Like, why was I able to?
I think you was able to defend her because you was going through your own stuff, and you probably didn't want nobody to touch her in that same way.
Right. So why not stand up for myself?
It was harder.
Like, I think it was hard. That pisses me off, actually. So
you got to remember, you're 6.
Right. But I'm 6 and strong enough to be like, nah, sit down, get down. Don't talk to him. I'm able to say that, and I'm able to look at you and say to you, don't touch my niece, but I can't stand up for myself. So I have an issue with that. I have an issue with even being perceived as fast, and anything that I might have done to let this be okay. I had an issue with that. Let me be clear, though, because one of the things was, now that I realized that this happened to me, and it hurt me, and it has affected me, because now it could affect you in a whole lot of ways, honey. But I don't let people exert power over me. I get real buck if you try to exert any power over me or put me in a compromising situation. And it doesn't matter if you love me and I love you, I will cut you down. And I know that is partly from that.
But this is probably another reason why you like to be in control of everything.
Yeah, I agree.
So being able to control the situation, being able to know what's about to happen. No, this is not about to happen. This is about to happen.
Yes, I am not your victim, because I'm not Daddy Brooks' victim anymore. I'm not anybody's victim. And what they say is basically, if Sometimes you are not responsible for your wounds, but you are responsible for your healing. One of the other questions for me was that how did I start to heal? And I want to tell anybody that has been molested and still dealing with the shame and the guilt of it, tell somebody with a compassionate ear. Shame cannot live in the same place that compassion is. If you have a person that is compassionate and empathy and empathize with you, it just lifts the burden up so much. Like, just get it out. Say it. It happened. Say it. If it's your mama, husband, and they still with that person, say it. Say it out loud. Make everybody at the table deal with it and not just you by yourself. Because what happens is you feel all this shame and all this guilt and all this dirt on you, and it just get bigger and it just get bigger because in your head it makes everything bigger until you actually say it out loud and that person tells you it's okay. Somebody telling you that it's okay and it's not your fault. It's something that you need to hear. Even if your rational person can tell that to you, you still need to hear it from a second person. I'm telling you, it's so effective. It's so therapeutic. But then not only that, I do think that I heal too because, like my husband said, I got a way of removing things that don't make me happy. Like if I have a picture in my head of what things are supposed to be, if this sad feeling is not working with my picture of myself, then I got to put it in a box and kind of throw it out the window mentally. But I also had to just start talking to myself in more compassionate way. Like, that happened to me. It wasn't my fault. He was just nasty. Like, that was just him. And I can't let him dictate the rest of my life. I can't let him affect me for the rest of my life. I don't even want to give him that much power. I don't even want to give the scenario that much power. And I also do things like counterfacts. So it was horrible that he did that. But I lived. I didn't become pregnant. He didn't penetrate me. Like, I always give myself a worst case scenario, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And for everybody, it's always that you can create a worst case scenario in your head to make yourself feel better about that particular situation. But in that sense, you can kind of move forward from your affliction or whatever happened to you. But you definitely have to come to ease with it. You have to come to an understanding with it and let it go. Don't allow that specific perpetrator to just run your whole life for the rest of your life. And that's it. Like, I'm done with shame. I'm done with guilt from anything that Daddy Brooks ever did to me. And that's point blank, period.
I do have another question. Looking back, what would you have told your younger self?
Tell your mama. You know what? Tell your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your brother right away, because your brother will smash his face in, take his life if necessary. But tell somebody.
So how did you stop it?
I wish Daddy Brooks dead and he died. That's really what happened.
Okay, all right. Hey. They say God hear your prayers, right?
Okay, so now I thought this was very interesting. Like, my husband had had listened to the last podcast basically, and he was bringing up a whole lot of things that we didn't address. He was like, "Y'all didn't even address male molestation," and I keep telling him, like, we can't address male anything because we are female. We're speaking from our perspective. So if you got something to say, bruh, come on the show and let's hear about it. But you can't be scared to discuss it. You can't be scared to talk about it.
I'm not scared to talk about anything.
Hey, bae.
How you doing?
So, tell us what you got to say on molestation.
No, I think you're just talking about the story. But, I guess for a boy, it ain't really, you don't feel like it's molesting when you a boy. Because it's like, hey, you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And, I guess technically, if you want to use the word molestation, you could use it. I was molested, but shit, I don't know. It wasn't really, I ain't really think nothing of it. At the time until now, I'm hearing everybody saying, oh, this happened, but it was just like,
See, I think what constitutes molestation is basically the perpetrator is fully aware of what they are doing, and what they are doing is wrong. And they know they are doing it to someone who either don't know that it's wrong, or someone that is in a inferior position to them, and they're taking advantage of it. So let me tell you, I want to ask you, did you know whether it was right or wrong?
I don't really think I thought about it as right or wrong, because like I said, it didn't really hurt me. It was just I was doing that with that person.
How old were you?
I was a kid. I don't know, young, 6, 5 or something.
Yeah.
Real young.
And
I
I'm
was
sure
real
the
young.
perpetrator was not 5 or 6 with you.
There's a little bit older, but I mean, you know.
Yeah. And not, I mean, in that respect, it actually do happen like that all the time with men. It's not until like they grown people and they realize, yeah, that person was taking advantage of me. Even though they didn't hurt me.
Right, the person was like, I guess you could say taking advantage.
Yeah.
Was
just
convincing
put-
you to do stuff that didn't hurt you. I ain't really getting no pleasure out of it because I was a kid, but it didn't bother me. It was just like, hey, okay, we hanging out and we gonna do this. I
How
asked
did
him.
you confront the situation? Like,
He
how did
didn't.
It stop? You
It
know?
went. It just, eventually it just stopped. But like I said, I wasn't hurt.
Yeah, but as a grown man, you know.
I look back on damn. I guess technically that person was molesting me, but I mean, I was alright about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to work with a chick whose brother got molested. I mean, he got raped by a chick, and like I said, once the chick, it was a big chick and he was a smaller dude. The big chick sat on him, put it up in him, and he was straight. He was like, hey, after that, it kept going on. He kept stabbing her for a while.
Yeah, but that happened.
Now you can say, I know.
Even women have orgasms, but that doesn't mean they wasn't violated in the first place.
I ain't say you wasn't violated.
I know, baby, but I'm just saying you are not supposed to use your weight as a weapon to have force somebody to penetrate you. I mean, of course.
I wasn't penetrated. Hold on. Let me talk about. I was just being convinced to touch on somebody, and it was a female. Let me start off by saying that too. It was a female, and I was just being convinced to do stuff.
Right, I understand, honey. Nobody penetrated you.
Right,
And you didn't
let's get
penetrate
that up out of
anyone,
there.
And it was a female. I was not
Right.
trying to
I'm just trying to be
insinuate the
more
latter.
specific.
So, what advice do you have for someone going through that situation?
For a boy, look, see, I grew up in a different era. Like, I just charged it to the game because I didn't know what was going on at the time. It was just, hey, we hanging out. This what we doing.
Right, but
Now,
since
for
you
a
know
girl,
now-
I say tell.
But
And it's a
even
double
so,
standard, but it is what it is.
advice would you have for your own son? Because now you are aware, you are older, and you do have a son. And
How old is he? Was he
his
same
age
age
right
as
now.
me?
His age right now.
How's the girl?
The girl 15 and he 10.
I'm gonna tell you this. Rihanna 14, and her little guy friend is the same age. I ain't gonna. If Rihanna say that this guy was trying to convince her to do something, I'm gonna be like, nah.
Can a 17-year-old girl
Look. I already said on the show I'm fucked up, right? Don't tell me about it, cause now it's a problem. Cause now if I don't report it, then it's gonna be a legal issue. But if he getting happy, he getting some enjoyment out of it, more power to you.
Right, that is molestation. That is molestation. It's no way he's on the same brain.
I never said it wasn't. I never said it wasn't, baby.
Girl. That makes no sense. A 10 and a 17-year-old person, and that would be okay with you?
Like I said, more power to him. But I'm gonna admit I'm on a double standard. I don't want nobody touching my little girls. Now I don't want nobody touching Rayfield if he ain't getting no enjoyment out of
Wait
it.
a minute. What if Rihanna was getting enjoyment out of it?
I already said it. I ain't about the double. I'm about the double standards. I ain't about nobody touching my girls. But let me say this too. I'm a realist, right? If you gonna decide you gonna f*** a nigga, just tell me straight up you gonna f*** a nigga, and it ain't shit I could do about it. But at least come to me and let me know so I can prepare you and you can control the situation. Ain't that what I always say about Bug? If you gonna do some shit, make sure you 100% in control of the situation. Don't f*** a nigga at his crib ever.
So, I think you made another point too about how frequent molestation was back in the day.
I think it was this world kind of soft nowadays. I don't think no man should be touching no female at all, right? But everything that's called sexual harassment or molestation, I don't know if it's really that deep. I don't know if it's really that deep. Like, all right, so nowadays, right? Let's say me and you work together. I'm your boss. I'm like, damn. Let me not even say damn. Let me keep it professional. I'm like, all right, Sheree, man.
You way past professional, bro.
All right, yo. Anyway, like I said, me and you working, Sheree, right? Mm-hmm. We working, and I'm your superior. I'm your coworker, and I'm like, man, Sheree, you look real nice. That's a nice skirt. You look real nice. That fits you real well today. Mm-hmm. Hey, I could lose my job. And all I did was compliment you, right? But depending on how you take it, it's an issue when it shouldn't even be that deep.
But I think it comes with appropriate behavior. I think that's inappropriate to say to somebody in your workplace.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? I can't come up next to you and touch on your thigh, right?
Right.
But you females love to touch on a man's arms. They love to walk up and touch on a man's arms or rub a man back. Now,
who be rubbing on your back and grabbing on your arm?
Let's just talk about this, and we just talking about,
See,
right?
I wouldn't do that. I feel like that's inappropriate on a woman's behalf, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know how often that shit happens, though? That a female will come to touch your shoulder, touch your back.
Tell us, Ray, how often does that happen?
I mean, it happens a lot. It happens a lot. I mean, you know, I don't work with many women now, but back when I did, you know, females will run up, they'll talk to you and grab your arm. So what? I got nice arms. That don't mean you could grab me, but of course you violated. Anytime anybody touch you without permission, you've been violated. But is that really, how deep is that? That's, you know what I'm saying? How deep is that?
One, it's all about perception.
It is.
Because in the work environment, you have the same rights as anybody else. So if you grab a female arm, she can report you, and you could report that. You decided not to.
I agree.
Decided that was okay.
I
and that
agree.
people could feel on you, which I'm going to address later. Then my arms.
I agree.
You decided that was okay. You had the right to report it. You decided that you didn't want to report it. That's on you. But as far as you complimenting somebody at work and talking about how they look and whatever, you understand that it's a place for everything. So you take the risk.
But back then, that was probably just the culture. That was probably just the vibe. If I'm a man of authority in a job, I'm not gonna even talk to a chick one-on-one. Anytime it's gonna have to be witnesses. Anytime I say anything to a female, it'll have to be witnesses.
Well, what?
And I ain't even in management.
My knowledge is if you have something you want to say, even if it's just you and that person in the room, if you handle yourself in the appropriate manner, don't nobody need to be around. You will only want witnesses if you don't know how to control yourself.
Nah, you want witnesses because you can't control what somebody else will say, what somebody else will lie and say.
Well, if you married or in a relationship, you shouldn't be trying to say anything.
Nah, this the situation. Let's say you somebody of authority in this position, and you got to discipline your subordinate, and she happens to be a woman, and you a straight male, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I wouldn't feel comfortable disciplining this woman without witnesses and no more at this point.
A disciplinary is gonna be like a write up or something verbal. So I mean, it's
once you go in that office on some one-on-one, she could come out and say. Once you go one-on-one, she could come out and say whatever she want. She come out and say whatever she want. She could be like, look, that man, he did this. He disciplining me because I wouldn't fuck this nigga.
Well, I mean, if
you know, this ain't even on topic, but
I definitely think that I understand you saying you not have to take the necessary precautions because of how women are now, but I mean how it's coming out now, and that's okay if you don't never want to be alone with a woman. That's your choice, but don't get mad because you're saying people grabbed on you and you didn't report it, and now
I'm not upset.
I don't think you upset, but I'm just saying. It's not about whether it's that deep or not. It's up to you to determine if somebody's touching you is that deep. If a woman say you grabbed me and it's that deep and now I'm reporting you should have never touched her because you should always conduct yourself as a professional and don't put yourself in a place where you can be taken to HR for anything. Now, you might be lackadaisical with your body, but that don't mean she got to be. But let me tell you something. There's a disconnect. They are victims, you know, and a lot of men feel like they have pleasure in it, so they're not victims. And that's why the myth is that don't send your child with women, with kids or family members that have men. And everybody assume that the wife or the woman there. People don't know the rate that women are molesting boys because they don't feel like victims.
What Dorothy just said, they showing that on I don't want to spoil the show. So the show The Shy, what Dorothy just said is episode 3. Part of episode 2, episode 3. They showing just what you said amongst the kids though. But I ain't gonna even spoil it for people. But if you watch episode 2 and episode 3, episode 4 come on tonight. They
you
showing
plug in the
just.
Shy Baby?
Oh, I plug The Wire. The Wire, the best show ever. If you ain't seen The Wire, go buy all the seasons. They on
Yes,
Amazon
hands
Prime.
down.
1 through
Yes.
5, best show on TV ever. Followed by The Sopranos.
But it's a disconnect. It is a disconnect because young men do not feel like
But The
victims.
Shy is covering that though, which is cool
I
as
wish
fuck.
I would've seen
which
it.
is cool
And
as fuck.
a woman produced it.
That's good. Hey.
I wish I would have seen it because it is real. People do not realize the rate that women are molesting boys. And the reason why is because, like, I listen to I listen to different shows. Even Charlamagne was molested. D.L. Hughley was molested. And they all say the same thing as you. They did not feel like that they were being molested, and they don't know if they kids, they sons would feel like a victim. That's why I don't mind you sharing your unpopular opinion.
But see, that's a different time too. It's a different time. You know, now it's a different time.
But
You
see,
could do anything in you.
molestation don't have nothing to do with these women and these sexual harassment claims. Like, that is really, stop even equating it, because boys are being molested, whether
didn't
you
say they
feel
wasn't
molested or
being
not.
molested.
So equating it to a woman being molested at her job is not the same thing. And I know you might not even be saying it the same thing, but when you speak so reckless, I may take it as that. They are two different things. The world might
Anybody
be,
who's
the
doing
world not
something
even
that they don't want to
suffer.
happen to them or they didn't agree to is a victim. I didn't say they wasn't. Let me just clear that up.
And then not only that, the world is not softer. The world is harder. Women are like, no, I don't like it. I ain't gotta take it. I ain't gonna take it, and you gonna have to pay for what you did. You're gonna have to stand up and be punished for what you did. And because they not taking it, you saying that they softer.
If I tell you riding me and I tell you to get up and you don't, you raping me right now, right?
But we married. I might not get up.
Nah, it's rape though. It's rape though.
No, I don't want to. First
Now,
of all, I'm not a rapist.
all men should just run out here. This is what I want from all the men listening on this show. Let's start locking their ass up. When they hit you, be the first to the phone and call the police. Since everything is equal in this world, let's start locking these females up. They hit you, call the police. You see them with your personal belongings, call the police. They violating you, call the police. You want equal rights for women? Get treated like a man. Let's treat y'all like men then.
Well, in theory, if a woman put her hands on you, you should call the police, unless it's me.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem, right? This world's so soft. They want to break men down that they less than men. What kind of man, real man, gonna want to call the police on this woman?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's your choice. Don't fault me when I call the police if you put your hands on me. Just because you said it's some
I understand
it's some
a woman
PUSS
deciding to
stuff
call the
that
police because you inferior. Strength-wise,
take.
mostly. Most women are inferior to men strength-wise, physically.
You
Most
decided what you
women,
gonna
so.
take. I'm deciding what I'm not gonna take.
Cause man, it's like you feel less than a man if you run into the police on your female, which is what you really should do. We ain't even on topic.
At all.
We ain't even on topic. We talking about molestation. Hey, yeah. So I guess I was molested.
And
I ain't had no problems with it.
16 and 24.
Oh yeah. So, and you know what's crazy? My nana and my mama knew I was with this chick, and they let it keep going on. All my nana said was, "What the 24-year-old want with you?" Cause matter of fact, my daddy was the one blowing me up. I was in a high school at my parking lot. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was all up in the nookie, and bigs up to my daddy because he saved the day. That chick ended up getting pregnant and popped off. That could have been my baby for my whole life up. So bigs up to my daddy for saving the day. But anyway, yeah. So this chick, I was 16, she was 24, and hey, it was fun,
It was fun, but that
And
woman was grown.
She even asked me, did I want her to go on prom with me?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good for
because
her.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this.
for her.
I'm gonna tell you this, right? She was a nice, slim, thick chick too.
And she was wrong because she took advantage of your 16-year-old
She ain't taking advantage of nothing. I was having a good time. I was finna have an even better time. Well, she ain't take advantage.
Okay, honey.
Don't touch my daughters though.
Honey, exactly. And you know why? Because that is still not right. On the deepest level, if it ain't right for your daughters, it's not right for your sons. You still recognize it as molestation if it was your daughters. So it's the same, Rayfield.
double standard.
That's the same. Exactly.
I said it's a double standard.
It's
But
the
it
same
shouldn't
thing
be.
with these
You should
teachers
care. You should care
and these
enough about
teenage
him.
boys.
Yeah.
It's the same things with these teachers and these teenage boys. They have physiques and bodies as adults, but they are not adults. And these women are taking
every high
advantage.
school boy dream. So don't let nobody confuse you and tell you that they ain't they badass teacher at 15, 16.
Because half of them don't know no better.
It ain't
Right,
about
because
that's a cop out.
because you
I
don't
knew
know
full
any better.
well what I was doing also with that 24-year-old.
Listen, the wrong 24-year-old would spin circles around you.
Hey,
I know
spin
for
circles
me, when I
around
was
me.
24,
Spin circles
if
around me.
and I was dealing with a 16.
At 16, shit.
And this is why women are more.
Shit.
This is why men are not adults until they
You know
become a
what? You know
certain
what? You know
age,
what that
because
make you
y'all
feel when you
minds-
16 and you can win a 24-year-old? That make you feel like the man.
But you could be manipulated severely. You cannot have a real relationship with that person. So they will. Let me tell you something, right?
I knew I wasn't in no real
Right.
relationship with her.
Right.
Like she had a whole boyfriend and she got pregnant. You think I care?
Wait. Because listen, honey.
She wasn't the only chick I was gonna smash either.
Right.
This is all I'm saying, right? I can't speak for the world. But I know me and everybody, most of the people I associated with, we had a nice science teacher at my school we went to. And shit, I went to a majority white high school. And all the white kids and all the brothers and all the Latinos all want to smash this French teacher. I ain't gonna even say her name. If you went to Brotha Rice from year 97 to 2001, she taught French. You know who I'm talking about.
Baby, no. I just want to say it is still a person that is older, wiser, and can abuse you and manipulate you.
and run circles around you. Like
Exactly.
you could be sitting outside her house going crazy, depending on the type of woman that you got that'll have you in that mind state where you can't even get off of her. Like, thank God that you was having sex with other people.
Hey.
Thank God that you didn't
I'm
get
not
so
going to say thanks God
wrapped
he
up.
was having sex with
No,
other
I'm
people.
just saying
this
he-
man is a mess.
Hey,
He didn't
you
get
know
so
what?
caught up, but it's people out here who get caught up in that one person
I
and
agree.
that go crazy, ready to kill her, then kill themselves. Like, this is serious.
That's
this
one
is
of
a
the
serious
reasons why we didn't
situation.
even ever date
Hey,
people
but
that
maybe look, I
age.
handle my shit with y'all advice. I told my people, everybody knew.
Okay, so basically, we wrapping up the whole topic of molestation. We just brought my husband in basically because I've realized that men have a whole different perspective of molestation and whether they victims and how did it feel and pleasure. It was just crazy. I was like, you know what? I know
I was
it's
too young. I didn't get
totally-
no pleasure, but I didn't get pain. I didn't have me personally. I didn't have no mental issues as far as I know from that.
Yeah, as far as you know.
As far as I know from
I
that.
know that. I
And
know
this
it
was a
triggered you to
long
be a
time
mental
ago,
case.
substantial, long time ago. So
Okay, but basically, I just brought him on. I know he is reckless and totally opposite from us, but that's why I love him, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in.
hold on, are we done?
Yeah.
Ain't no got no.
Just wrapping it
you got
up.
any questions, Sheree?
Yeah, I
got
pretty
any
much
questions?
threw him in while y'all was
You
talking.
got any questions, Dorothy?
If she that much older than you, it's abuse. It is abuse.
That's what I'm
and
saying. Not to have that
unacceptable.
mindset that it's cool. Know the difference. Know the difference between dating somebody and actually molestation. You need to know the difference.
Yeah, you may be a victim.
Yes. And if you're not sure, talk to your parents. Talk to
I was
whoever's the
victim of
closest
having
person.
A good time.
Whoever's the
Alright.
closest person to
A
you.
good
I
time.
really do appreciate.
And that's the first time I smelled love spell. She had some love spell on.
Thanks for
Hey, you
tuning
know, she
in,
had some-
ladies and gents.
Hold on. She had some love spell on. That shit was smelling so good.
What's it, baby?
I'm never
You know
smelling
what?
that perfume
The
again.
craziness is you always wanted me to wear love spill. Is that why?
I told you that she wore love smell.
No,
love
no,
smell,
you
yeah.
didn't.
I did.
All right.
All right, this concludes Soulful Ratchet.
Soulful
y'all.
Ratchet.
Thanks for tuning
I'll be
in.
back. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.